What I would love to see is a change in the catechism. I don't think we need to change it, but if it's going to change, disordered should be inserted for fornication is disordered. Masturbation is disordered. Anything that is sexual expression outside a man and woman committed for life, open to children.
Olá, amigos. Salve Maria. Um excelente bispo está atraindo a atenção de todo mundo. Don Strickland, da Diocese de Tyler, no Texas. Como os cardeais da Dúbia e Don Schneider, Don Strickland tem defendido a fé abertamente contra as heresias que se alastram pela Igreja e que estão sendo difundidas pelo Sínodo da Sinodalidade. O bispo Strickland tem rezado e apoiado a missa de sempre.
Bendicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus.
Condenou publicamente a fala do bispo português, que tinha dito que a JMJ não deveria converter ninguém. E agora escreveu uma carta para mostrar quais as verdades que os progressistas tentarão destruir no Sínodo, citando a fundação da Igreja por Nosso Senhor e a relativização dos pecados contra o Sexto Mandamento. Como Don Strickland está defendendo o que a Santa Igreja Católica sempre ensinou, há uma pressão vinda de Roma para que ele renuncie ao governo de sua diocese. Alguns dos melhores bispos de todo o mundo reagiram a este fato e pediram que ele se mantenha firme na defesa da fé. Dom Athanásio Schneider, por exemplo, escreveu uma carta aberta a Dom Strickland, dizendo que, ao contrário de São Basílio, que recorreu ao Papa Dámaso, você, infelizmente, não tem a possibilidade real de recorrer ao Papa Francisco para ajudá-lo a manter zelosamente as sagradas tradições do passado. Pelo contrário, a Santa Sé agora o coloca sob observação e ameaça de intimidação e privação do cuidado episcopal do seu rebanho em Tyler, pela única razão de que você, como São Basílio, Santo Atanásio e muitos outros confessores bispos na história, mantém as tradições dos padres. E o bispo arrematou afirmando que os futuros papas certamente lhe agradecerão pela sua fidelidade à fé católica. E para que vocês tenham ideia do combate que Dom Strickland está travando contra os inimigos da fé, vejam como Sua Excelência refutou a tentativa dos líderes do Sínodo de excluir os atos homossexuais como um pecado contra o Sexto Mandamento. E na mesma entrevista, o bispo também refutou as posições do ideólogo LGBT indicado pelo Papa Francisco para o Sínodo, James Martin.
You know, as for something radical that the Pope would do, we wake up every day and the Pope does something radical. It's hard to...
Oremos para que Dom Strickland se mantenha firme no governo da sua diocese. E que viva Cristo Rei.
The wordsmithing of people like Father James Martin, who I don't think explicitly contradict the faith, but seem to speak in a way that lead those who are questioning the Church's teachings on homosexuality.
And certainly people gravitate to him that feel supported in living what the Catechism says is a sinful lifestyle. Yeah. What I've said, and I'll say right here again, Father Martin and others have argued the word disordered, that needs to be changed in the Catechism.
No.
What I would say is it needs to be included even more to recognize that, you are married to a beautiful wife. You have 4 children, Is that correct?
Yep.
Marriage it's a very narrow path. It's sort of the eye of the needle. It's for a man and a woman only, committed for life, open to children. Those qualities are what marriage is. Anything else, any other expression of our sexuality, which happens rampantly and in ways that probably neither of us have even thought of, in the world today, they're disordered.
Yeah.
And I take Father James Martin's point that, oh, you pick on the gay couple, but you allow the heterosexual couple to just shack up and no problem. Absolutely.
But the answer
The
isn't.
tendency to do that is wrong.
Yeah.
It's as disordered any of those expressions of sexuality. For me, as a single man, there are lots of ways that I can, virtually anyway,
Yeah.
to actually have an active sexual life is immoral for me. It's disordered.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's tough, believe me. And I've struggled with living up to that. But that's what celibacy is. And we could talk for ages, I guess, because the whole breakdown of priestly celibacy is the lack of emphasis that it's about chastity. It's not just about, you can't get married. It's about you remain chaste and unengaged in sexual activity of any kind. Mm-hmm. And that's a challenge for a man or a woman in the world today. Yeah. But I think what I would love to see as a change in the catechism, I don't think we need to change it, but if it's going to change, disordered should be inserted for fornication is disordered. Mm-hmm. Masturbation is disordered. Mm-hmm. Anything that is sexual expression outside a man and woman committed for life, open to children. Contraceptive intercourse for a man and woman married is disordered.
Right.
I think we've got to be clear about where the disorders are, because we're living in a time when the disorder is carrying the day. Probably if you just, only God knows, but if you had the ability to just do one of these polls of all of humanity and say, is your sexual expression in your life, is it ordered or disordered? I think for most of the planet, across the world, it would be disordered at this time in all kinds of different ways. But we've got to hear the truth that sets us free. As a single man and a celibate man for most of my life, there are challenges there. I think, to be honest, for most of us, it may not be the biggest challenge in this person's life or that, but it is a challenge
some degree,
to really genuinely live a chaste life. That's why St. Joseph is so important for men in this year of St. Joseph, because he models for us in a supernatural way. Only the grace of God could allow you to do what St. Joseph did.